What's up, traders? Florida man here. Just kidding. I know you guys were making fun of me for that on the stream today, but overall today was a pretty interesting day. I used for the first time position size that was a little bit bigger. What was like 2 or 3 months ago, we were trading with $500 position sizes. Now, for the first time, I traded with 3.5 thousand roughly dollar position sizes, and I'm going to be looking to get to that 5,000 by the end of the month. I'm just doing it very slowly because I want to feel comfortable along the way. I don't want to start feeling extra stress. And today, if you guys were on the live stream, you saw me. I traded with I think like 3.5 or 3.7 thousand dollar position size, and we were down for a little bit for like 2-3%, which usually isn't like the big deal, but at 4% is usually where my stop is. And all of a sudden we were down quite a decent chunk of change, compared to like trading with $1,000. So it's like, ooh, it feels a lot more intense, and that's why I want to gradually get there. I could right now trade with $10,000 position sizes, but it would probably give me a lot of stress, unnecessary stress, and then I would start fumbling and then I would start losing money. I mean, what if my first 3 trades with $10,000 position sizes were all, let's say, 3% losers? That's basically $900 gone. And I would, feel a little bit deflated because of that. So again, I want to get there, but I want to get there in a healthy kind of way and not do anything unnecessarily stressful. I think we got some cool tickers to review today. SCKT is definitely one of the big ones that I want to review. WHLM will review, but kind of mixed feelings about it for sure. Maybe it's just because I'm red on it, but yeah. So let's go to the charts now. Got some fun stuff to review, and then we can wrap it up. And there's no reason to overdo it. I mean, like, I could keep trading, but at the same time, I was so dead on Friday, and I don't want to get into that over trading, kind of just being dead, being extra tired than tomorrow. I'd rather just cut it and then get excited for tomorrow, and then just be back ready to go around 7 a.m. when TOS opens up, and start watching the market from there, getting aggressive, and then knowing we can wrap up around 11 without any sort of major FOMO or something like that. All right, guys, let's go to the charts now. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy the content. If you're totally new, consider subscribing. I would love to have you join the community. It's just a super fun place. I love all the veterans there. I love all the familiar faces, but I also appreciate all the new faces, and I think everyone does as well. Everyone has something special to contribute, or something new, or whatnot. Let's go to the charts now, guys. Hey guys, welcome back. So I just counted, and we have 12 trades that we made today. And not too many, but I gotta say, a lot of it was pre-market. So coming back here and closing this for a second, you can see that I only traded 2 tickers today, which is nice. Usually, like on Friday, we traded like 6 or 7 tickers. I did over 20 something trades. We were just churning everywhere, and then I closed the day for like, I don't know, roughly $200 loss or something like that. Today, we were a little bit more stable. I was more clear-headed. I was, I just, focused on the best, and didn't really trade something I wasn't comfortable with. So SCKT, even though it's been pulling back all day, pre-market, it was a huge winner. That's where I made most of my profit on SCKT, and then WHLM. Well, let's just review this one first, because this was a absolute mistake on my end, this whole WHLM, the one I traded, or the way I traded it. Because actually, I gotta say, I kind of called out what I wanted to do, and it kind of did it, but not really. So I should have been maybe kind of more flexible in the way I traded this one, and not really rushed into it right when I switched over my screen. So WHLM was gapping up about, what was it? It was quite a lot actually pre-market. Let me see here, like 300 something percent. Then it gave back a lot. It gave back about 55%. And that is when I was like, uh-oh, gotta be careful. And you know what I did? I forgot to do on my watch list, I forgot to put 55%. So in red. So anytime a stock is pulling back over 30% pre-market, I always put a little bit of a red flag there, because that usually shows big signs of weakness. And this thing pre-market was just all over the place, and I didn't really know how I would want to trade this one pre-market. So I was just like, ooh, I'm gonna kind of let it go. What I did like about it, besides the fact that it was gapping up over 100%, was the 3 million float US biz specialty company with good Q1 2020 results. And I think they beat their earnings, or something like earnings estimate. So really, really nice stuff there overall. But again, gapping up, pulling back 55%. That's a huge loss not holding its highs. That's always a red flag. So I was like, okay, if we see something like in the 7.5 zone or whatnot, I'm gonna love to get aggressive on WHLM out of the gates. And guess what? We pulled right here pre-market to like 770.68, and then we pulled right back up, and then we pulled back one more time right here, and I was like, ooh, this is looking kind of good. And 1 second, VXRT, I actually might end up trading this one, VXRT. This is looking kind of good. Let me kind of consider buying in this one, but then I was trading SCKT, and I removed this screen here so you guys can see it. So I was not really watching this one. And then by the time I came back to WHLM, it was halted, and I tried to buy the pullback here. It didn't rebound, and then I held this one way too long, and I took, a big loss on this one percentage wise. It sucks. It's like I wanted to trade this 9-minute EMA breakout, this VWAP breakout, this red to green move, and then somehow I missed it, and then I lost money on it. So it did exactly what I want, and then somehow I lost money on it. And then in this area, it had no volume, and then let's just scroll forward here. In this area, it had no volume, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to get on this thing. But eventually, when it did break VWAP, I should have jumped on this thing, around 8, but then I was already down so much on this one. I don't know. I totally dropped the ball on WHLM. This, if I traded this tomorrow, maybe I would have been profitable. It's just like this time it didn't work, and I don't know. I don't want to overdo it on a stock that I'm clearly fumbling on. Made some, held the highs here, but dropping volume again. And then just look at yesterday on WHLM. I mean, this is why I'd be very careful with this one in the evening. So yesterday, this one had a kind of let me just scroll out a little bit further here. So yesterday, hold on. Let me think about this for a second. So if we just zoom in, wrong way. No, actually that was the right way. So if we just zoom in a little bit here, and then we go back further, you can see yesterday we ran up here about 100%, and then actually not 100%. So we pulled back here after the market opened, and then we ran here. This is going to be like 74%, but then it gave back all of its profits. So yesterday on the daily chart, check out this. So we have this kind of extremely wicked open here, and then it just sells off all day. Spiked higher and then sold off. So I was a little bit nervous that maybe we'll see something similar to WHLM, and that's why I couldn't really get on board with this one. Unfortunate, because today was actually the day it was doing pretty well. I wonder if this kind of $9, $9.50 zone is going to hold, and it's going to have somewhat of a reversal. That's something I would probably maybe be looking for. But overall, I don't know. I think it's just a loss in my book, unfortunately. VXRT. We were talking about this at the end of the stream. We were thinking like maybe we're going to buy this about under 950 could be a good buy zone. This one does have some really bad news. You want to watch out with this one. But we are on the daily. It's at 936 right now, and on the daily, it's huge support here. Not to mention it's falling off a cliff with no volume. So that's always a really good sign. It does have some sketchy news about it, so just definitely watch out. But I think there's a really good chance that it's going to probably have a nice little bit bounce here. Maybe it's going to go to a little bit below 9 or something, but then it might bounce back above 10, and then maybe hit this kind of 9-minute EMA back here at 12. So I think this could be a phenomenal little bit of a trade here if you want to, swing trade this one. But I'd be very careful as well. I mean, I don't know how low it's going to go. I would probably like to buy it closer to the 8s, but intraday, I would probably already consider dip buying this one and, selling onto bounces and just kind of being quick with it overall. But yeah, selling into bounces. So let's for now maybe see if we break $9, and if we break $9, then maybe it would be worth maybe going long again, or not again, but for the first time. So I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of done with trading, and I don't want to force anything specific. Although I gotta say, the chance of this bouncing pretty nicely here is pretty high. So this pullback here was 7%, and then here we are pulling back roughly. Where are we pulling back? About 5-6% right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if this did a little bit of a bounce here. Let's have 100 shares ready to go. Let's see what kind of bounce we could maybe squeeze out of this one. Try to break. Oh, instantly rips higher. So I was thinking we're gonna get maybe closer to $9. Where does this one go? 950. Yeah. So there's definitely a bit of front running that goes on with VXRT. This is the secondary major dip on this one. So big support on this one for sure. We're looking really strong. I would have wanted one more little pullback, and maybe even a break of $9 when the selling volume decreased. I don't know. Okay. Well, let's just give this one a little bit of chance. I'm not going to buy it right now. SCKT. Let's go to it. SCKT. 5 million float, US computer hardware company with Dura Sled launch for Xcover Pro. So it has a catalyst under $5 million. I mean, 5 million float, 60% gapping around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This thing was looking really, really good. It was looking ripe for a big move. That's kind of the good it was looking for. I actually have a limit order on this. Why do I have a limit order? Let me go ahead and remove this. So 7 o'clock happens, this thing opens up and just absolutely rockets up here, has a flag pattern, continues, has a nice pullback, continues, rips, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh man, did I just miss this whole SCKT move? Maybe. So I try not to like FOMO into stuff, especially once it's already overextended. At this point, it was like up 170% pre-market. And I don't know, I didn't really want to trade it anymore. And then I was like, okay, well, if it has a nice pullback under VWAP specifically, then I think I might start averaging down into this one. So I bought my first share here at 333 or 3.333, yada, yada. And then it, tried to pull up here a little bit, didn't work, pulled back again. I was down like 2-3%. My max or my stop is usually 4%. And then usually at 8%, I'm trying to get out like no matter what, just like you saw on WHLM on the live stream today. At this point, I was a little bit nervous because at here, I was up 800 shares. This is one of my bigger position sizes. I was basically up 800 shares at maybe an average of 3.3. So 816.24. So 3.3, yeah, like 2.7 $1,000. I mean, it was enough to kind of make me a little bit nervous. I was like, oh, okay, this is a bigger position size pre-market, first trade on a Monday after having a bad Friday. Like, oh God, what did I do? Like this trade was perfect in terms of like everything was happening the way I wanted to. But the fact that I was using such strong aggressive share size on like a size I haven't really gone towards on this kind of challenge account, made me a little bit nervous, although this is not a challenge account, but this is kind of like, we went from $500 position sizes, and our goal for the short term is to get to $5,000 position sizes. So it's like, I think the biggest size I've done so far was like 2,000, I think 500 or something like that. So all of a sudden, I'm like big size on this. And luckily, not really luckily, but yeah, it ended up breaking upwards, and I got out around 3.4 on the test of VWAP, and that's really where I wanted. It did break out a little higher, but that was not my goal. So I was pretty happy about this one. I was like, whoo. I did know 3.2 was big support, so I felt fairly confident with this trade. It's just, I was like very kind of shaky about it because I had bigger size. Waited for a bigger pullback here past the 9-minute EMA because I knew I probably would, FOMO into this now. So I wanted to be extra conservative, and I was like, I'm only going to buy SCKT on a bigger pullback under the 9-minute EMA. This ended up being like a perfect setup here and a perfect entry and exit. So this was a bit. This is like $2,000 position size, which almost felt small at this point. I almost got a perfect entry and exit on this one. This was a really decent trade. This was like 7 or 8% profit, or like 7% profit on a 2K position size. I made like $140 on this in 3 minutes right here on this trade. And I was like, woo, that was nice. All of a sudden, I was up over $200 on the day with SCKT. All this kind of in here was a lot of fumbling. I bought the dip here, didn't work. I re-entered here, didn't work. And then eventually closed this one for a small loss. Then it actually ended up pulling up here 15%. And this is probably when I got a little bit more FOMO-y. I missed this pullback, then I bought the breakout, didn't work. It was also a partial execution, so I closed this one. Then I waited here to try to buy the dip and pullback breakout, and it ended up being like, I ended up buying the breakout, it didn't work. And then again here, I was like, okay, you know what? The sell volume is very light. It tried to crack multiple times. I'm going to go ahead and buy this one again. Again, unfortunately, I didn't get the full dip, and I bought the breakout move higher. This time it worked. Luckily, I didn't buy any like very aggressive pullback, and I got a nice trade here. Again, so this was like almost a perfect exit too on this candle. So I was pretty happy. All of a sudden, I was like up, I don't know, like a pretty decent amount. But then I gave back some on these trades here. And then I think I went up from like 250, 260 down back to like 180 into the market open. And then into the market open, I fumbled like an absolute lunatic. I mean, I traded this so bad. Even on the stream, I was like, guys, I'm sorry. Like I'm trading like a moron right now. Basically, I was like, what I said pre-market, I was like, I want to see a pullback back to VWAP, maybe even this kind of 3.5 zone. What happens? This thing's at 385 after a pullback, and I accidentally entered with 300 shares at like 385. I was like, no, why did I do that? That was horrible. That was like exactly what I didn't want to do. And then it pulls back again here. Luckily, I didn't close out. I averaged down because it was still in my risk tolerance. I averaged down, had a full size now at about 600 shares, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, like, ooh, this is pretty serious." And then, was having some issues here at 378 at the 9-minute EMA test. So I tried to close this trade, but I only got a partial fill at like 22 shares. So I closed the rest of this, so I just removed that order. And then the price spiked up here, and I actually sold at a pretty okay spot, about 404. This exit was very shaky because I was trying to get out with 600 shares, and then since I was holding like 500 and what was I holding, like 578 or something like that, it kept on rejecting the limit order, and I was like, no, why is it rejecting the limit order? I don't get what's going on. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's because I'm at 578. So I changed this to 578, and I was like, okay, everything's good to go. Boom. And then I said join the ask, and I got out right away. Had a nice little dip trade in this area. This was a pretty quick one. And this was the most intense trade of the day. I think my heart stopped for like 5 seconds on this one. So SCKT kind of, had another dip here, and then I'm like, okay, let me buy here into the teens. This is what I wanted. But then it pulls back here like another 2-3%. And I'm like, ugh. And I kind of bought again. And then all of a sudden I was at like a huge position size. I had a $1,200 position size, about $3. So, I'm getting to like a $3,500 position size zone. This felt big. I was like, should I be nervous right now? A little bit, because if we broke 3, which I highly doubted it would do until we had maybe a second retest, there was going to be at least a bounce to 3.2. It hit 3.2. I was waiting for a crack of 3.2. It did happen, but it was very slow, and I was scared of a flush. So I just closed out for a 319, because lately we've been seeing a lot of flushes when a breakout is weak. And I'm talking about like, a 10% flush. And I didn't want to be down, 10% with a $3,000 position size in like, 10 seconds. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to close here, which I'm pretty happy. I'll take my small scratch on this one. I think I made like 20 bucks on this trade, even though it was a huge position size. So it was a total scratch. Actually, SCKT, this could be a trade setup. I had a limit order at 279. I was thinking about trading this one at 279. We have, huge support in this zone. So maybe this could be a setup here. I would probably like to see 275 crack a little bit harder, and then enter around 250. That would probably be a little bit more comfortable of a setup. So actually what I'm going to do instead of trading this one, I'm going to put an alert here. And while I'm editing the video, if it goes below 275, I would probably consider trading this one more time. I don't think some warrants are going to come out about this one just yet. So who knows? Maybe I will trade this one, but like I said, I would like to see probably a crack of 277 at this point, and then maybe trade into the 225s area or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. Most likely I won't do any more trading. Maybe I will. I don't know. It's always really hard to say. Most of the time I don't. Sometimes if I see a really good setup, I do. But at the end of the day, it's very like, I can't always call it out ahead of time, because you just don't know how the price is going to kind of form. And I got to say, it looks pretty hot in this area. Might have to trade it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You guys will know though on the stream tomorrow if I'm crying or whatnot. But no, most likely I'll just let you guys know what's up. Plus on Trade Journal, you guys will be able to see my whole portfolio within the next, I don't know, 2 to 3 months. And then you guys can always review the trades on your own time as well. All right, and we know 2.5 is that big multi-month support and resistance, so I probably would wait for maybe 2.5 or even a crack of 2.5 and like buy into the 247s or something like that. But again, I don't know if it's going to happen. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up there. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy the content. If you're new, join the community, man. It's really good fun. We'd love to see you there. Till next time, guys, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao.